Cecilia, Enzo cries. The second he says her name, I know exactly who this girl is. Cecilia Winchester. I sort of used to be her nanny a while ago. Enzo also looked after her while some other stuff was going on in her life. I haven't seen her in person since she was 10 years old. And now she's... oh my God, she's 27. I am horribly old. Despite everything, Enzo runs over to her. He wraps his arms around her and she hugs him back. He whispers something in her ear and she smiles and nods. I couldn't make out what he said, although I heard the words, your mother. I crossed the room to get a better look at this girl. She might be 27, but she still looks very young. I would believe 20 if somebody tried to convince me. But there is something very shrewd and hard about her blue eyes. She's had the eyes of someone 20 years older. Something about her eyes make me believe that having her on our side might be the best weapon we can have. Hello, Millie, she says. The last time I heard her voice, it was high and childlike. Now it's crisp and businesslike. She seems like the sort of woman who is working, even at the dinner table. I manage a smile. Hi, Cece. It's really good to see you. See him. She smooths out the lapel of her shit jacket. I wish it didn't have to be under these circumstances. Cecilia is a public defender, so officially we are mortal enemies, Ramirez says. But I admired her passion when I saw her in action. I ran into her about a year ago at the supermarket when I was picking up that cake he asked for to get Freida's birthday party, and we got to chatting. When I told her who I was getting the cake for, it turned out she knew you just as well as I did. So when you called me this morning, I gave her a call right away. Just as well as I did. It's pushing it. You? We've been friends with Benny for years, and I last saw Cecilia when she was a child. Has she been keeping tabs on us? But if she has, I should be grateful. She's our only hope right now. Benny has been filling me in on all the details while I battled the Long Island Expressway, she says, as we return to the living room. They've been building quite a case against Enzo. He wrenches. I know. It's terrible. Cecilia, you need to know I didn't. Cecilia sits down on the sofa, crossing one of her skinny legs over the other. She places her briefcase on her lap and opens it with a snap. She extracts a yellow legal pad of paper and clicks open her ballpoint pen. Clearly she does not want to waste time on small talk, which I appreciate right now. Maybe you didn't tell him, she says, but they won't after you hard. I promise you that. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got a search warrant in the works. Enzo sneers. Let them search. They will find nothing. I don't feel in the same way. I have had my home searched by police before, and it's the largest violation I can imagine. They go through everything. They rip apart your entire life, and they don't put it back. What will they be looking for? I asked Cecilia. A murder weapon, she says without hesitation. Any trace of Llewell's blood. I think about that bloody t-shirt Enzo was wearing last night. He never ended up finding it. He must have gotten rid of it. Except if it really was his blood, why would he get rid of the shirt? It wouldn't be incriminating if it was his own blood. They won't find that, he says firmly. It would help, she says, if you tell me everything from the beginning. And so he does what she asks. He tells her everything while she quietly jots down notes on her yellow legal pad. He talks about his relationship with Suzette, the things he did to help Martha, and finally working in the yard yesterday when Jonathan was being murdered. I did nothing, he insists. Nothing. Why would they think I would kill him? It's a rhetorical question, but Cecilia seems to be truly considering it. She is clearly grown up to be a very thoughtful young woman. I wonder if Ida will turn out like her. Of course, if her father gets locked up in prison, that's going to be a mess up forever. I'll be honest with you, Enzo, Cecilia finally says. I believe it might have something to do with Dario Fontana. At the mention of that name, all the colour leaves Enzo's face. What? He says. My understanding, Cecilia glances over at Ramirez, who nods, is that Detective Willard has done some digging into your past before you came to this country. And that is a name that has come up. I've never heard that name before in my life. So it's disturbing that the man I've been married to for over a decade has such a violent reaction to you. Who's Dario Fontana? I asked him. That was a long time ago. He chokes out. Cecilia's voice is firm, leaving no room for bullshit. Not that long. Enzo, I say. He is squeezing his knees so hard that his knuckles are white. Dario was my sister's husband. His sister's husband. Okay, now it makes sense that the name upset him so much. Antonia was abused by her husband for many years, until he finally ended up killing her. He was also a man with dangerous monster ties, and when Enzo took his vengeance, he immediately had to leave the country. I can understand why he never wanted to say the man's name. But what I don't understand is why Cecilia has brought him up. He wasn't just that, Cecilia says. We need to be honest about the situation we're dealing with. Enzo shoots me a panicked look. Millie, would you leave us for a moment? Is he joking with me? Does he really think I would leave right now? No way, I say sharply. What is it that you don't want me to know? Enzo, Mary says, just tell your wife the truth. Enzo mumbles something under his breath. There is no way I am leaving this room without finding out what he doesn't want me to know. Enzo, I say again. Okay. He clenches his hands into fist. I worked for him. I worked for Dario Fontana, okay? My jaw drops. That is a piece of the puzzle I'd never heard before. Enzo worked for the guy who used to beat up on his sister. Not only that, but from what I understood, the man was a mobster. So if Enzo worked for him, I was a kid, he says. I was 16 when I started working for Dario. I didn't know who he really was. By the time I realised. How many years did you work for him? Cecilia presses him. Enzo looks completely miserable having this conversation. 8 years. And when you were working for him, what did you do for him? Enzo closes his eyes for a moment, then opens them again. Please stop, I understand. This is bad. I get it. What did Enzo do for this mobster? Okay, Cecilia concedes. We don't have to talk about this right now. But I need you to see what we are dealing with. If this were to come up in a courtroom. Yes, I understand. I will fight for you, she says. But I don't want to hear lies, Enzo. I can't do a thing for you if you lied to my face. You have to tell me everything. You have to be completely honest so I can protect you. He looks her straight in the eyes. I did not kill Jonathan the Well. You have my word. Fine, she says. But if you didn't, then who did? Suzette Lowell, I blurt out. That has been the thought in my head since the moment I saw that dead body lying on the floor. Suzette never seemed to respect or even like her husband. My first instinct was that she finally killed him. But how? Were Mary's ass. That neighbour, she swears Suzette was out all day. Does she have an alibi? I ask. No alibi, no. But it's not like this cul-de-sac is walkable. She would have had to come home with her car. It would have been noticeable. There is another way, Enzo says. Cecilia raises her eyebrows. I'm listening. There's a way to park around the back without going through the cul-de-sac. Enzo says. Suzette told me about it. She could have parked in the back, gone in through the back door, and Janice Archer would never have seen her. And you wouldn't have noticed her. I was back and forth between our yard and theirs. I wouldn't have necessarily seen her. Okay, that's a start. Let me look into it. Cecilia looks down at her watch. All right, I've got a busy afternoon, so I have to run. This is not going to be a walk in the park, but I promise I'll do everything in my power to keep them from pinning this on you. I'll fight for you. Enzo frowns at her as she rises to her feet. When did little Cecilia Winchester learn to walk in such high heels? You've had cases like this before, one? He asks. To her credit, Cecilia artfully dodges the question. We're going to win this one. I hope she's right.